It was a night, written in gold and shadow. The stage, Madison Square Garden. The date, January 19th, 2008. And the story, two icons of the sport, colliding not for belts, but for pride. Puerto Rico's golden sun, the destroyer of legends, the welterweight warrior whose left hook had crushed, and Roy, at 39, was no longer the blur he once was. Yet here they stood, shoulder to shoulder, eyes locked, knowing this wasn't just a comeback. It was a reckoning. The crowd roared as flags waved, red, white, and blue for the USA, red and white for Puerto Rico. Referee's voice, touch gloves, and let's go to work. The bell rang, and in that sound, the echo of history. Roy bounced on his toes, light and fluid. Trinidad, steady, patient, stalking with purpose. A jab here, a counter there. Neither man reckless, both calculating. Roy's jab began to find its mark, sharp as ever. Trinidad answered to the body, those thudding hooks that once shook divisions. The crowd felt the tension. Two veterans. Round two began like a game of chess with leather gloves. Trinidad stepped forward, pressing the pace, testing Roy's legs. He landed hard to the ribs, a reminder of his famous left hook. Jones grinned, slipped, and fired a lead right hand in reply, ghost-like. Still, Trinidad's pressure mattered. He kept digging to the body, hoping to slow Roy's movement, to trap him against the ropes. Trinidad's heart is still pure fire, but Roy's control is absolute. By the third round, Jones began to open up. His hands flowed like water, jabbing, doubling up, finding that pocket of rhythm that once made him untouchable. A sharp right hand snapped Tito's head back. Roy's eyes flashed with that old arrogance, the kind that said, "You can't touch me." Trinidad nodded, acknowledging the blow, his warrior spirit unbroken. He smiled, wiped his mouth, and walked forward again. Two legends, two fires refusing to go out. When the bell sounded, both corners spoke the same truth in different tongues. Keep your focus. Respect the man across from you. But remember who you are. Round 4. Roy Jones Jr. was now in rhythm. The man once known as Superman began to reappear, not in youth, but in mastery. Trinidad advanced, determined to change the tide. Roy waited, and then it came, the perfect right hand over the top. It cracked through Tito's guard, snapping his head back. The crowd erupted. Jones followed up, right hand, left hook, and another dazzling flurry that drew gasps. It was vintage Roy, not the reckless artist of the 90s, but the controlled assassin of old. Trinidad tried to answer, digging to the body, swinging wild. But Roy's reflexes, even aged, were still otherworldly. He slipped, rolled, smiled, and spoke through his punches. Each movement whispered, "I'm still the king." By round 5, the pace quickened. Both men traded heat. Tito's hooks to the ribs, Roy's counters to the chin. The sound of leather echoed through the garden. It wasn't dominance, it was drama. Every round felt like a round of respect. Two men, too proud to back down. And as the bell ended the 5th, Jones looked at his corner and grinned. He had found his groove. The artist was painting again. Round 6. The storm arrived. Jones, relaxed, patient, began measuring Trinidad with that lead hand. Then, boom, a right hand over the top. Tito stumbled, but stayed up. Roy smiled, nodded, and went back to work. Moments later, it happened. A sharp 1-2, textbook, clean, and Trinidad hit the canvas. The crowd roared to life, the garden trembling beneath them. Tito rose, pride burning through fatigue, but Roy could smell it now. The finish. He circled, feinted, and struck again. Another right hand. Another knockdown. Trinidad's heart was unbreakable. He stood again, fists raised, fighting the storm with defiance. Roy, ever respectful, didn't rush recklessly. He knew what this was. Not humiliation, but history. For the next 2 rounds, Jones boxed with elegance, dancing just out of reach, landing at will. Every move felt deliberate, every punch a statement. He was showing the world that greatness might fade, but never dies. As the bell rang, the crowd rose to its feet. They weren't just watching a fight. They were witnessing 2 eras bow to one another. Rounds 10 through 12 became a slow dance of endurance. Trinidad, bruised but unbroken, kept coming forward. Jones, sharp, smiling, calm, picked his shots with precision. It was no longer about domination. It was about honor. Every jab from Roy whispered of the past. Every step from Tito screamed of pride. The crowd, now standing, clapped with every exchange. When the final bell rang, both men embraced. A long, hushed end, silent respect shared by warriors who had seen the same mountains, the same falls. The announcement came moments later. By unanimous decision, Roy Jones Jr. The garden erupted. Roy raised his arms, smiling softly. No dance, no arrogance, just peace. He had come to remind the world who he was, and he did. Narrator, closing voice. In the end, it wasn't about age or victory. It was about 2 legends giving the sport one last masterpiece. Trinidad fought with fire. Jones fought with soul. And together, they proved one truth. Even as time moves on, greatness never fades.